You guys requested it, so here it is. This is going to be a tutorial for how to make the minecart drop down station. I'm going to go through it stage by stage. I'm going to start off with this, which is the track selector. I'm going to then go onto this, which is the actual track selectee bit, and then I will go into this, which is the pulling back door, and lastly this bit, which is very simple, which is just getting you onto the track to begin with and off to your destination. So let's begin. Like I said, the first part is the track selector. I'm not going to go over this too much in this tutorial, but I have got another video which I will put an annotation to, which just shows you this design for it and how you can do it. A couple of modifications that I've made on the other one is that instead of this block here with the torch on, I've just replaced this block with a redstone lamp. It does the same thing, apart from you just got to invert this signal. Okay then, so let's start the build. The colours we're going to be using for the wool here are going to be different to the ones that we used over there, so don't go watching that video and trying to copy the design in the same way that we're doing in this one, because you'll probably get your colours mixed up and get a bit confused. Alright, so we're going to start off with the first line, which is the primer line. If you've seen my other video, this will probably make a bit more sense to you. But what you want to do is you want to make a 3x2 by 1 of red wool. Well, I'm using red wool, but you don't have to. This white wool I'm just going to put here, and this is going to be the track selector. So this is what the end of the track selector looks like. Pretend the rest of like the RS and all that and whatever, pretend that's all there. It's not for the moment, but we don't need to worry about that. We need 2 bits of redstone wire there. We can have 1 bit there, and then we need 2 sticky pistons, and we are going to put 1 here, and then we're going to put 1 on the side of that one. We're going to have these go off at the same time, like so. I'm actually going to grab a lever real quick, just so I can disable this. There we go. So you can see they both detract and attract at the same time. Are they the right words? I don't think they're the right words, but oh well, onwards. Okay, so part 2. Now all we've got to do is we're going to add in the top layer above this. So what we've done now is we've made the bottom bit, which is the primer bit. We'll still need to do the other side, but we'll leave that till later. I'm going to use orange and yellow, but you can use whatever colour you want. And we are just going to put this across here. And then we're going to put this here, and that there, just like that. Now for the redstone. Now these 2 blocks are going to be pushed up, so if we put redstone on there, it's just going to get destroyed, so there's no point in doing that. So what we are going to do is we're going to put a repeater here, and a repeater here, repeater here, redstone dust, and then we're going to put 2 torches right here. Also, what we're going to need is we're going to need a sticky piston, which you can place on this torch, and 1 on this one. And that's another section done. You can also make these 2 separate colours, as they are technically 2 separate bits, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So that's one side pretty much done, and now we're going to move on to the next side. Now these 2 pistons are going to be on the rail, that's what they're going to be attached to. So we're going to need to put 2 bits of wool underneath here, and then this there. You can use any building material for this, I'm just doing this. White wool I'm basically classifying as bits that aren't anything to do with redstone or aren't anything to do with the actual this bit, because this is to do with the track selector and this is just where the rail is going to be. So there's a few more things we're going to add in, and that's mainly on this side. So as you see, when you come along, the rail gets pulled back and a piston pops up here. So what we need to do is we need to make the primer for the piston that gets pulled back here and the piston that gets pushed up here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to start off by attaching the piston that's going to pull it back onto here. Just going to do that like, ooh. See if we can get this, pow, just like that. And now underneath, this is going to be the same circuit as the orange. So I'm going to put some orange wool here and a torch underneath this piston. Now for this block to go up, this is kind of the same bit as this bit. This gets pulled back and this goes up. So need to put a, oh no, that was right. Need to put a piston on a block underneath, like so. And now all we need to do is we need to make a primer here. So it's going to be the same sort of thing as before. Going to put your wool down like so. And then we're just going to put a piston down here that's going to get primed. So now whenever this is activated, this goes up and the signal can flow through. So of course we need to put our signal in. So just going to do that like this. And obviously we need to get the signal to go to here as well. So let's just put this in. Going to go up here and into this. And then we can just put signal across there. Sorted. So now if you want to see it in action, ta-da, ta-da, and that's pulled back, sorted. Okay, and now on to the almost last part. I kind of skipped a little bit off camera because it was kind of boring. All I did was I dug out this little channel at the side of this little bit, popped a torch on here, dug out a channel, just goes one down here, and goes all the way along here, so let's level this, then just goes in, and you can see there's the piston there. So let's put in our redstone. We're going to put in redstone dust all along here. We're going to put torch there, and dust on top of there. And so now that's everything, pretty much. As you can see, if I flick this, both of those go up. They're ready for there, and this goes up here, ready for our input signal. This is why I kind of mentioned that it's a bit like an AND gate. I call it the primer, but essentially we've got this bit ready and this bit ready. So then when we ride over with our minecart, it gives the other signal and sets off the whole circuit. So now let's get ready to put in the input. Okay, so this is what I class as the final part, which is the actual activator, as I like to call it. So what I've got here is 6 blocks of your building material. On the 6th block you've got your pressure plate and 1 downward piece and then 3 powered rail. Now the reason I've got this is 3 powered rail will get your minecart up to most speed. The downwards bit will make sure the minecart's got the most momentum, and then this will set it off. This means that it will keep a continuous speed all the way along here, it won't slow down, and it will be able to get to any one of these with the right timing. Also talking of timings, I did miss a couple of things. These are only set to 1 tick, if you just want to set them to 2, and that should fix everything, I hope. Okay, so now we're just going to go on here, and we're just going to build under this little bit, and we're going to bring this around so that it is level with here. That's one side done, and now this side is a tiny bit more complex, but barely at all, barely at all. So got the little step up, it's going to meet on this redstone wire here, This is going to come and meet round. But we are going to put in a pulse lengthener. So the best way to do that is that we've got to extend these signals anyway because they're not going to reach. So I'm just going to put down 1 tick delay there. Then I'm just going to grab some more wool. Boop. And I'm going to put down 2 4 ticks worth. I'm going to link that all up. Going to put in a repeater here. And then we're just going to do this. Link all of that up. I think I've done the pulse extender right, but now that I'm thinking about it, I have a feeling it may cause a loop in the circuit. What I normally do to test these things is instead of running ridiculous amounts of minecarts over the pressure plate, I normally just put a button in wherever it is. Nope, that did work. However, apparently we have a problem and the rail has popped off the track. So we'll just test this out again and see what that was. So that's actually retracting a bit too soon. So we'll just put a bit of a delay on there. Put down some more track. Still a bit. At this point, I was concentrating so much on how to fix it, I actually forgot to speak. So instead of talking over how I was fixing it, I will just recap on what went wrong and how I ended up fixing it right now. Okay, so there were a couple of reasons why that wasn't working, and I've just gone ahead and fixed that, and I'll get you back up to speed. Basically, the repeater that we had down here wasn't necessary, so we got rid of that. And also, the reason why this wasn't working is it wasn't powering this piston here. Now, you can just drop this down here instead of using the 2 torches that we used to drop it down before and invert the signal. You can just drop this down underneath, which will power this because the redstone is going straight to it, but it will also drop down because a piston is a transparent block, so it doesn't register as anything there, and the current can still flow through. All the rest of it is as normal, and as you can see, if I set this off, works fine. So now is the real truth, is if it works when we set off in a minecart. And it does. So now, if you want to join any of these together, all that you have to do is just put some sort of block in between here, and then put a repeater on full delay, and then down for the bottom here, it is just the same thing in line with that one. And the great thing about this is that this bit is modular, so you can have as many of these as you want all stacked up and they will all continue to work. So now all we had to do here really, if we want to finish it off, is add this in, and once we'd add that in, we'd actually want to add in something else here, which is the reset line. Okay, so I quickly just built a little mock-up of what the bottom of the RS NOR latch looks like, and yours will probably look something like this, or it might not have this block, which is great because you don't need it for reset line. So what we're going to do is we want to make sure there's a gap here, just like that, and then we're going to run our reset line like so. And we're just going to run this across here, and then you can have it continue off along here, and it will again be in line with this, and then it will continue on to your next track selector. So all you want to do is you want to set up a real long delay on this. So just put in a load of repeaters, all on about 4 tick delay, going into here. One thing that you will want to do is you'll want to invert the signal at some point, because at the moment, no matter what we do with this, that torch there is always off, so the rest of the RS0 latch will not work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put torch here, redstone wire over there, and then the rest of your RS0 latch will still function. What this does is that you'll have your destination still selected, and people will know that someone has selected something, so they won't go onto the track. But as soon as you go over in your minecart, so let's just go off on here. Let's select our destination. Done. You'll come along here, drop down, and as you can see, there's that going across there, and now it will be reset. So this is the main part. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and found it actually quite helpful. I will be posting the second bits of how to do the outside parts such as this and this shortly after.